Hey, it's Adam here, and you're watching The Culture Hack, where we're talking about how to create engaged workspaces that unlock the potential of your teams and drive your business forward in ways you've never seen. So stay tuned. Hello, and welcome to The Culture Hack. Today I have my good friend Jay Fairbrother on the show with me, all the way from Pittsburgh on the East Coast. Welcome, Jay. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Hey, Adam. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Fantastic. Well, Jay, he is the Mastermind Guy, so it's a pretty fun title, but I want to hear a little bit about what you do, Jay. I mean, I know that you've sold multiple seven-figure businesses, and now you're in the business of helping other people. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Adam. So, I'm a serial entrepreneur for 30 years. Was not smart enough to join my first mastermind until 25 years ago, which means that I struggled to scale my business until I figured out how much masterminds can help. I've founded, bought, and sold multiple seven-figure businesses over the last 30 years. Now I focus on helping people create masterminds as income-producing opportunities. So I target sort of coaches, speakers, experts, influencers, and entrepreneurs who want to, either create a mastermind for themselves as a peer mastermind or create an income-producing mastermind to either scale their business or to add an extra six figures in what I call play money for established entrepreneurs who want to teach others how to do what they've done.
Okay, I like that idea of play money and helping others. That sounds pretty fantastic. So, let's get into the mastermind groups a little bit. I mean, there's nothing more engaging in my mind than in a mastermind group. So let's start there. What does engagement mean to you?
Yeah, well, I would start with defining what masterminds are. So Napoleon Hill's credited with coming up with the concept, and it's pretty simple. You put one person with a brain in a room, another person with a brain. You create this third invisible, intangible force that he called the mastermind. And then if you imagine putting 8 to 12 brains in a room, the size of that invisible, intangible force that you can create. So the idea with masterminds is to tap into the collective wisdom, experience, knowledge of those 8 to 12 brains, and elevate the expertise that's being shared beyond just whoever is the guru. If there's a guru leading it or a speaker expert that's leading the program, we all have content and knowledge and stuff that we can share, but if you expand that to the group in terms of creating an environment that's collaborative, supportive, helping with co-creation, accountability, and just being that sort of informal board of advisors as you grow your business.
I love that. Right, it takes a village. Can't do it on your own, right?
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. This intangible, invisible force, and I think we don't give it enough credit to how powerful that can be. Do you have any examples or stories where, through your mastermind groups, you've been either to help clients solve problems or you yourself have gained value?
Yeah. So, part of my story is, I built a company to about 10 million in revenue, and I sold it in 2004. And, life was pretty good. And I traveled and I bought 3 other businesses and I made tons of investments. And then, like many people, this little thing called the Great Recession happened in like 2008, 2010. And I lost everything. I mean, bankrupt, broke, living in a friend's basement, lost my marriage, everything. And the only reason I'm probably still here today is because of I've been in many multiple digit masterminds, but the one mastermind that I started with 25 years ago, I was in that mastermind for 17 years. And, those people helped me through that period of my life, way beyond just a basement to live in and a car to borrow, while I crawled my ass out of that basement. So that's the kind of impact a mastermind can have. And I have many experiences, like that over the years in my own masterminds, as well as now with clients that I'm helping create their own.
Right. Well, that's an incredible story. So it's not only from a professional sense, but a personal sense as well, right? Kind of your whole self, whatever growth in your life is happening, or whatever struggles you're going through. That's pretty amazing, because entrepreneurial journey can be quite lonely. It's been my experience.
Absolutely. And it's hard to separate the personal from the business. So yeah, like when I've joined most of the masterminds that I've joined, it's mostly been with entrepreneurs. Like, we join because we want to grow our businesses or be better entrepreneurs. But what happens is as you develop the relationships within the group and the connections and the bonds, the conversations start to go to another level, a deeper level. And to me, so that's really, to me, what Masterminds is about. It's the human connection piece. And if you think about the world we live in, information's a commodity now. It's been that way, for a decade with the internet. But training is also becoming a commodity. If you just look at ChatGPT and what's happened with that in the last, even 8 or 9 months, you can go out and get a medical license or a law degree on ChatGPT. And if you think about how fast it's accelerated just in this past year, and think about where it's going to be a few years down the road, my question to a lot of the speakers and experts and trainers that I work with is, why are people going to pay you for training in a few years? Because you will be able to be trained on just about anything with a probably very human-like persona, AI persona, within that time period. So to me, the real value is in that human connection piece. Your word is engagement. That AI can't reproduce, right? It's those connections. It's developing that intimate tribe of people that you answer the phone for any time of day or night. Those are the kinds of relationships, friendships, and that's the deeper level that you can get in a mastermind group.
Yeah, I love that. The other part I love about mastermind groups is the accountability that you kind of have towards each other. So you can hold each other accountable to, taking steps to achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve, whether that's personal or professional. Because when you show up next time, you have a recap. What did I do? What did I said I was going to do this? Did I do it? Right?
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, there's those hard questions. Well, if you didn't, then why? Like, what are you doing? What's stopping you? Right? So
I mean, I know, you guys operate a lot in terms of culture and, dealing with some of these workplace issues that have developed, since COVID. And to me, like, that's another opportunity for masterminds, is to create these internal peer groups within your company so that the relationships get deeper. And if your company is big enough, you put true peers together in a group for that accountability and support. The way I look at it is, like, when you're in a corporation, you're rarely, if ever, in a meeting where there's not a superior or a subordinate in that same meeting. And that changes the group dynamic immediately, right? If you can develop an internal container where you put true peers together in a corporation, you develop some confidentiality and safety rules, they can get into these more meaningful conversations and ask the stupid questions that they're not going to ask in a meeting when they have superiors or subordinates. And it's, a model that exists out there. Google does it, that where these internal peer groups become a way to create stickiness. And the stickiness is like me being in that mastermind for 17 years, right? Yeah. Like, the value was so great that I wasn't leaving that mastermind. If I get into a great internal peer group within my corporation, I'm likely to stay there because of those relationships that I've developed.
Interesting. So it drives engagement, addresses turnover, and everybody knows as the business grows that silos start to pop up, right? And what a cool way to break down those walls by putting people together that might normally not, then making them talk about intimate things, right? So
Yeah.
I love that idea from an internal perspective, or external, right? And can people be in multiple mastermind groups?
Yeah, and there's many different types of mastermind groups. I mean, there are, pure mastermind groups where you just go out and, like I just created one as a coach. I created one for other coaches that are at about my level in my journey of building my coaching business. So we created a true peer mastermind of other coaches that are in that. I run a local mastermind here in Pittsburgh that is entrepreneurs, pretty diverse group. And then I run a mastermind for the clients that I help with who are creating a business around building like a six-figure mastermind program. So there's tons of, there's even what I call access masterminds where you don't even have to be necessarily the expert, but if you can go out and find, 3 or 4 of the top people in your industry and intrigue them with this idea of joining a mastermind to get access to the other top 10 or 12 people in the industry. If you can pull that group together, you don't even have to be the expert. Those people will pay you a lot of money because you're providing the access to those other top industry experts. So there's lots of variations on how you can do masterminds.
Okay. Oh, I love that. I mean, you already touched on it a little bit. We talked about, some of the AI stuff and the effect that's going to have on training. What else do you see for the future? Do you see these types of smaller, intimate groups becoming more of a common thing in organizations? Like, what do you see coming?
Yeah, I think that, the combination of the isolation that we all felt during COVID and continues to this day. I mean, here in the US, the US Surgeon General declared an epidemic this year, and it had nothing to do with a virus or disease. It was an epidemic of loneliness. And I think AI is just going to drive that point further home in the next few years. I think it creates a huge opportunity for people who do what you and I do, which is focus on that engagement piece and the human relationship piece. I think that's a huge opportunity here in the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay, I love it. Well, that's really interesting. I definitely hadn't thought of the training thing as far as AI. So yeah, you got me thinking. Well, thanks so much, Jay. I really appreciate your time, and hopefully people find some gems in the wisdom that you shared with us today. So thank you very much.
Yeah, anytime. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for watching The Culture Hack. Do you want to chat culture and engagement? Give us a call and come on the show.